This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce from the Views Expressed. Come join me Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com.
The United States government is seeking to end our great Constitution. This will endanger all the American people, and we will not stand by and watch while this tyrannical government prepares to rip away all of the freedoms that our forefathers granted us. The freedoms that we fought for, bled for, and died for.
Americans are under attack by their own government. We must band together. We must tell our government that we, the people, will not stand by and watch our liberties be taken away. Let the resistance begin.
Hello and welcome everyone to The Resistance. Nick Larson here with you. Today is April 11th, 2013. But you would not know that by looking outside, at least if you were in Minnesota. Already under 3 inches of snow and no end in sight. So anyways, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to find that groundhog and have some words with him. Anyways, tonight on the show, we're going to be covering a range of topics. We're going to be talking about the gun control legislation and how the Senate voted not to filibuster it, and we'll be talking about that. We're going to be talking about North Korea and how they could be the next false flag event that brings us into World War III. And then we're going to top off the night with a little talk about the Constitution. And what it really, what it should say and stuff like that. And, we'll get into that later in the show. So, I'm just going to put it out there. If you want to call in any time during the show, you're more than welcome to. The number to call in is area code 507-216-7672. Our Skype ID is the.resistance1775. I'll repeat that as the show goes on. So if you didn't get a chance to write it down, don't worry. I'll let you know. So let's go right into it, shall we? Top story for today is North Korea, and this has been a long time coming. Okay, and you literally could see this coming. You could, honestly. Now, recently at G8 summit in London, North Korea and apparently Syria were the hot topics of debate there. Conflict prevention and resolution seems to be the themes at the two-day G8 forum in London this week. The topic up for discussion, North Korea. Ministers from the group of 8 nations, which includes the U.S., Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Canada, and Russia, unanimously agreed that the combination of aggressive threats from North Korea and preparations for new missile tests are reason to be concerned. Well, it's nice to know that the rest of the world is now concerned. Now, the BBC reports there could be talks today about strengthening the sanctions already in place against North Korea. The problem for these ministers is that it remains unclear what Kim Jong-un is intending. One quote stated, I think what really worries the countries represented here is there could be some kind of miscalculation, some misinterpretation of signals by North Korea's relative new leader. Let's just stop right there. Because, we're also going to be talking about North Korea being a false flag. And just that comment right there, some sort of miscalculation or misinterpretation of signals from the north, or it could be from the south. Who knows? But and we're gonna get a little more into this, but things have escalated a little bit more since this article was just released, and this was released just today. So a lot of things developing, but it just smells like a false flag, and at least with the Bush administration, I gotta give them this: they knew how to cover their false flags. The Obama administration apparently flunked this class because it's so transparent. Anyone with eyes can see this. Let's just continue on. And now these talks, recent reports out of Japan say North Korea has moved its missile launchers into firing position. That's right. While critics believe there's little evidence North Korea is capable of launching a nuclear warhead long distances, some suggest a missile launch date could be as soon as Monday. And and it is the birthday of the country's founder, which is Kim Jong-un's grandfather. So the 15th in Korea would be Sunday, the 14th, Sunday night here in the United States. So something, I don't know what could happen. At least the latest intel tells us that North Korea has the capability of reaching Hawaii. And, could this literally be Pearl Harbor 2? Now, I'm just speculating now, but, because honestly, I have no idea what's going to happen. But, let's look at this from the north side of things, shall we? And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people that call me a communist just for doing this. But, in order to understand the conflict and, in order to avert war, you have to look at both sides of the issue. Now, let's look at North Korea. Okay. Now, yes, they have a new leader. He's willing to he wants to prove himself to the world community. But more importantly, North Korea has been crippled with these sanctions by the UN. And literally, the people of North Korea are actually suffering for it. Not what the media is now calling him Little Kim. Little Kim isn't hurting from this, but the people are, because there's no imports or export. There's no exports going out. There's nothing coming in. All bank accounts are frozen. So if something was done like that to the United States, it would cripple our economy. Forget about the Great Depression. It would be worse than the Great Depression. But, if that were to happen to us as Americans here on U.S. soil, would we not want to retaliate? Would we not want to fight back? Now, here's something that you probably haven't seen in the news, okay? And, take it for what it's worth. Hopefully you have been unplugged. You've taken the blue pill, so to speak. And you actually see what everything happening and such. Now, if you still got the blinders on, it might be a little hard for you to understand this. So yeah. But anyways, North Korea. There's actually what South Korea has done with the help with the UN is literally built. I'll call it the Great Wall of Korea. It is literally a concrete wall that spans the entire border between North and South Korea. Now, North Korea, Korea in general is, a very, a very cultural rich country. I mean, let's think about it. I mean, they've been, a country in history for, centuries now, or at least over more than 1,000 years, if not more, probably before Christ. But, so, there's, rich heritage there and, a very deep historical background on what Korea should be and stuff like that. Now, the North looks at this wall or whatever as, a giant scar on, a country that, once was whole. And, something like the Berlin Wall or the Great Wall of China. And, with the crippling back to the wall here. If you look at the wall, you'll see South Korea's flag flying. And then right next to it, you'll see the UN flag flying. Yeah, that's kind of a little bit, a little bullying on the UN's part and the US's part. It's like, hey, yeah, the UN's on our side, or even South Korea, for that matter. But so would we not, in the same position, do the same thing North Korea's doing? Probably. But anyways, now here's what's going on. Now the article I just read said that North Korea could be able to launch as soon as Monday. Now, the latest reports coming in from Pentagon officials and such, from Fox News, headlines saying North Korea capable of arming missiles with nuclear warheads, according to the Pentagon. Now, we already know this. We know North Korea has nuclear weapons capability. The problem with their weapons, however, is their rockets are not very long distances. Maybe Alaska, or Hawaii or Guam, but certainly not Austin, Texas, like Korea is saying. Now, here's another thing that you have to take into account, too, with North Korea. Back in 2009, I believe, North Korea launched a satellite up into orbit. Now, that satellite's payload is unknown to our government still today. And apparently the U.S. has, at the time said that they were going to shoot it down and never did. Now, still to this day, we have no idea what's in that satellite. But, of course, it's got people talking on what could possibly be in, or what the payload of that satellite is. Now, a lot of people are speculating. Now, this is just speculation, so take it for what it's worth. But that the satellite contains what's sort of a EMP, or electromagnetic pulse weapon, or a weapon that would release gamma radiation into the upper atmosphere over the United States and would disrupt the power grid, or something like that. Now, the theory goes that North Korea can control this satellite, and at any time, start its descent in, towards the U.S. Heartland, and then depending on where the weapon detonates, at what altitude or what location in the country, will determine how much devastation. Suffices to say, the closer to the ground this thing detonates, the least collateral damage, put that way. But if it detonates high in the atmosphere, then it could have the capability of disabling all the lower 48 states. So just think about that. The entire lower